Today we have the 2025 Lexus RZ 300e. This is a new model for 2025. It is now a lower priced base model, and we've got more range, which was a big complaint we had before for the RZ. We're gonna take a nice detailed look at the exterior, the interior, go for a drive, and talk about the range. Let's get started. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the exterior. So I have a review of a few years ago, the 450e, or a couple years ago, last year, can't remember, not long ago when this first came out. But this one is the new 300e for the RZ, and you still get a lot of the same looks, the same driving features, but we'll talk about what all we get. We've got this L-themed running light, LED headlights, no fog lights on here, but you got this massive no grill front end for this EV. What do y'all think of the front end design here? I have had quite a few people actually mention and ask, like, what is that vehicle? And they like the look of it. Whether critics give it or are, critical on the front end, a lot of the people around me have liked it. Now this is called the Ether paint. I think it looks really nice. Lexus gives you a lot of nice, smooth and calm paints that look good. It has a nice metallic-y look to it as well. And one of the biggest things about this EV is that we have 18-inch wheels, which help with the range. If you bump up to the 20-inch wheels, you're gonna get a significant drop in your range, so keep that in mind. We've got the charging door right there, turn signals in the mirror, we've got smart key system on the doors, even a little cladding on the bottom and around the wheel wells, so it gives it a little bit of a different appearance. Sorry about the old shadow right there. And dimensionally, it's 189 inches long, just under 8 inches of ground clearance. You still get the blade tail lamp design, this long LED light, LED turn signal back here, and this unique rear end with the extra aerodynamics going off of that as well. What do y'all think of the looks of this RZ? Now, to my surprise, I thought when I had this model before, we had a, not this particular model, but the 450e, it had hands-free lift back as standard. This one is manual. Manual open, manual close, not what I expected on a Lexus, especially Lexus EV, but you've got these two grab handles to be able to pull it down. I personally like a manual lift gate. You don't have to worry about it. It's not gonna break, but some of you might. We've got spots right here for a net, cargo net that you can hang up, and I love these hooks that they give us. You can hang grocery bags on there. You've got a 12-volt power outlet right there. These hooks are honestly great. I wish a lot of other manufacturers would do this, and they seem pretty stout as well. We have a first aid kit over here. We've got multiple tie downs in here. And then under here is where we get our charging cable. So this comes with a, we'll talk a bit more about this in a sec, but it comes with a 120 volt or 240 volt plug adapter. So you can do level 1 or level 2 charging with the provided cord. Right over here, we have our emergency tire puncture repair kit. So we do not have a spare tire. Be sure to keep that in mind. The overall cargo space back here, not great in terms of the numbers because it's not very tall, but it does still seem fairly wide right here. So getting stuff back here is not a problem. And this little cargo cover is also nice to have, although it does kind of get in the way if you want to lower down some seats, which are a 40-60 split. Let's lower down the other one. And the nice thing is that it's pretty seamless going from the cargo area to the back seats. So you've got some decent space to use with that. Now, here's our Lexus key fob. Pretty simple, just like we've seen on other Lexus models. You don't have a power tailgate, so this is all you get. Lock, unlock, alarm. Pretty basic for an EV and for a Lexus, but it is what it is. To lock it, you push this line right there. Otherwise, the handle doesn't move, and it's not necessarily a sensor. There's a little touchpad right underneath there that pops the door open. You've got the digital latch, so it's the same thing in here. You push this button, and it electronically opens the door. You can pull it to use it as a lever, but it helps to keep you safe in the event that a vehicle is approaching behind you or a bicyclist, something like that, so you don't open your door on them. And then taking a look at our seats. Even though this is Lexus, this is not leather. It is their new Lux material, which is their synthetic material. It feels nice. It does have kind of a synthetic-y smell. in here, I will say that, but this is perforated. You've got these bolsters on the side, which are nice size bolsters, kind of a moderate bolstering on the bottom, and these are soft and comfortable seats. I've got no complaints as far as the comfort goes on these seats. Two-way lumbar support. You got your regular height and your tilt adjustment and recline. So just your basic adjustments in this base RZ. On the steering wheel, we've got a comfortable to hold on steering wheel right here. Not gonna lie, this is very comfortable. It's also a heated steering wheel. It's very soft, and you've got manual tilt and telescoping. And these seats are heated, but no ventilation on this base model, no memory settings on this base model. Now coming to the back seat, still get the digital latch right here. We've got the soft panel running across, nice soft door. One little bottle holder down there. And let's go ahead and hop in. You can see that we've got map pockets on both sides of the vehicle, which is nice. It's always good to have those just in case. A couple USB-C charging ports. Down here's a 120 volt two-prong outlet right there. We also get air conditioning vents. Legroom is not bad. I'm 5'9". This is where I had the seat, and I can sit here comfortably. This is not a small vehicle. It's about 189 inches, which is a good bit longer than, say, a Toyota RAV4, a common family crossover size vehicle. And there's good space, good knee space, good foot space. In the middle right here, we also get a folding armrest, of course, nice and soft. Even cup holders that have little accommodation pieces to help hold smaller items in place. There's no moonroof back here, but otherwise, we're pretty comfortable. And I can sit up tall without my head touching, so that's great. It does look like it's kind of swooped down in the back, but there's still good space back here. I believe the version I had in here before, the higher trim level, had heated seats, but this base model does not. Now let's go ahead and start it up. Push button start is right up there. We've got a decent sized digital display here, a large digital screen over here, and then this door, like I showed you, you just push that button and then it opens. You can pull the lever if needed, or if your battery dies or something like that. Lexus always gives us nice switchgear. These just always feel more premium than what you get in a typical mainstream brand. And this whole door panel up here is also nice and soft. You got a big soft padded armrest, a decent sized bottle holder, and a little bit of storage right here. It does not go back if you like to put an umbrella or something like that in there. Typical Lexus. We've got interior brightness controls and your trip odometer reset right here. I love having quick and easy access to those, and they always seem to do that. Steering wheel right here. These controls are simple and easy to use, and again, switchgear, or whatever you want to call it, the buttons just have a better feel to them than just a regular old plastic button in a lot of mainstream brands. Automatic rain sensing windshield wipers on here as well, and this digital display is kind of old school in Lexus terms, because it just reminds me of some of the older Lexus models, even though this isn't an old Lexus model. But check that out. You've got different information pages, got your compass on there, music, your cruise control, you can see your adaptive cruise, and then any warning messages. Pretty basic information right there. Battery percentage level right there, your range right down there, and this little arrow next to the battery means that's where your charging port is. It's on the left side, driver's side of the vehicle. The one I was in before had a head-up display, but this one, being the base model, does not. But we still get this large display. This is the standard massive display. It's 14 inches, and it's got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can keep this menu here. You can get rid of it. I'm gonna put us in reverse. Just got a basic backup camera in this particular model as well. The climate settings on Lexus just tend to hang out right here now. You've got knobs for the volume. You can slide or push a button for the fan, and more controls right here. You can expand on that. You can hit this to get to some more frequently used settings. You can scroll through here. To change your drive mode, you have to go into the screen. I don't love that, but you have a range mode, normal, sport, eco. We'll go through that in the test drive, but there's a lot that you can also customize on this particular screen. A volume knob right here. 3 USB-C charging ports, plus a wireless charging mat right there. Underneath of this, we don't have a glove box, so we have a skinny little tray, and there's basically just enough room for your manual to hang out down there. Cup holders are good size. I usually have a large hydro jug with me. It fits in there well. Smaller drinks fit in here just fine too. And the shifter, more nice detail and finish work in this Lexus on top right here. This whole thing just feels fairly premium. Push down, go down or left to reverse, push down, go to the right for drive, or you just push down to go into neutral and then push the P for park. Traction control, brake hold, and electronic parking brake. And I'm glad this whole thing is not the piano black. This is much nicer, looks better, feels better. And then this armrest is nice and soft, and it can actually open up 2 different ways. Inside of here, not a huge area, decent size, but it's nice that it can open up both ways. Like I said, there's no glove box right there, so keep that in mind. Automatic dimming rearview mirror with the garage controls right here. There's no moonroof in this particular model. Overhead, we still get LED lights though, so that is nice. Visor, and the whole visor slides out. So it's a nice interior, not a wow factor, nothing real premium as far as features, but it feels nice, has nice materials in here, and not much to complain about as far as that goes. The blind spot is pretty legit in the back though, so keep that in mind. You do have blind spot monitoring in the mirror, which is nice, and I mean, it's a small enough vehicle that it's not too hard to navigate. Now, charging EVs is one of the things that can really make or break an EV. We've got the charging door right over here, pops open just like a gas tank. And you've got this little port right here so you can do DC fast charging. This is the traditional, I can't even remember the number, charging port. It's not the Tesla type charging port. But charging speed is not great on this model. It is nice that you have the level 1 or level 2 charger that comes with it, or the plug, I should say. If you can get a level 2 plug at your home or your apartment or wherever you are, that is a game changer. Day to day, you just have to plug when you get home and you'll be good to go. Full charge with level 2 is about 11 hours. Level 1's like 50 hours. So level 1 is just kind of emergency use, or you barely drive. But the DC fast charging speed is limited to where the DC fast charging time up to 80%, they say, is about an hour. That's a lot slower than a lot of other brands. Maybe it'll lend to a longer lasting battery. I don't know. It's a lithium ion battery, but we'll talk about the powertrain in just a sec. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this Lexus RZ. And this new base model now gets 266 miles of range. I think that's like 40 something miles more than what the last one was that I had, but that's with the 18-inch wheels. It's a significant drop if you go up to 20-inch wheels. This one is just a single motor, front wheel drive only, and lithium ion battery, about a 72 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery. So the specs on this are not impressive. That's one thing. I mean, it's pretty basic, not great range, 201 horsepower, not great power, just front wheel drive. You know, there's a lot of EVs out there with a lot of all wheel drive, 2 motors, and this one can get all wheel drive, but just considering the range, you know, it's a little bit underwhelming. That's what we get. And if you're looking for a Lexus EV that now has better range than the previous one, which was pretty terrible, honestly, considering the competition, this is a nice vehicle. If this is enough power, the front wheel drive's all you need, and you don't mind having the 18-inch wheels, you know, those are more efficient, so definitely go for those. But the interior is nicely done. I think it's modern enough, but still simple, easy to use, easy to live with. It's a nice vehicle to drive. It is fairly quiet. You know, it is an EV. You're going to have a quiet powertrain, but we don't have laminated glass in here like we typically get with Lexus. So maybe wind noise isn't as well done as Lexus could have done, or as they usually do, but it's still been a very quiet vehicle for the most part. This is a nice smooth road, so that helps, but it's a smooth driver. The acceleration is absolutely effortless, and even though it's only got 201 horsepower, the actual speed of this vehicle is still good. It's like a 7-something 0 to 60, which is perfectly fine for most people in day-to-day driving. So get around the fact that EVs have to be fast. They don't have to be fast. They all feel torquey regardless because of that instant torque from the electric power. But one other cool thing that we get here is the ability to adjust the regenerative braking. So you can use these paddles to adjust how much regen braking you have from level 4 to level 1 or even level 0. You can hold the positive sign, or the right side paddle shifter down, and it will remove the extra regenerative braking. But if you're going down hills or you like to drive kind of like in the one pedal driving type of style where you don't have to brake as much, go ahead and hit those paddles, and then you'll be able to do that and have a heavy regen braking system. Now, pedal down. Compared to EVs, it's on the slow side. Compared to most everyday gas vehicles, it's on the quicker side. So I don't think it really matters if it's not as fast as other EVs. It's still plenty good, and it's very smooth. And the torque comes out instantly, especially if you are already up to speed. And we're just in normal mode. If I put us in, let's go to sport mode. Our range didn't even adjust, but obviously if you drive like that, it will drop it down. Sport, I can tell it's got a little extra noise. It turns red down here, but it also seems like it just delivers more. Now we also have a range mode. We have eco mode and a range mode. And when I hit range mode, it automatically added 9 miles. So you have the ability to do that. There are some restrictions on range mode, but then you can go to eco mode. Range goes back to 106 instead of 110, which it was just a second ago. So you can milk a little bit more out of this car depending on what mode you are in. In town, slower driving, hit that range mode button if you want. Eco mode, if you just want to keep it a little more dulled down on the throttle. You've got normal and sport. And steering wise, this thing handles quite well. One thing about EVs is you've got a lot of weight from the battery at the bottom of the vehicle. Helps lower the center of gravity, helps it corner and handle well. I think the steering feels good in here. It does seem to take a little bit of getting used to as far as like knowing exactly where you're putting this vehicle, but it's comfortable. It's fairly lightweight. There's really no complaints as far as that goes. Ride comfort is good, and it just feels like Lexus for the most part. You're missing some of the more high-end features, you know, like a ventilated seat or a 360 camera in this base model, for example. But you've got a lot of other things that people are going to appreciate, and a nicely done, nice material interior setup right here. But I hope you enjoyed the test drive. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. So to wrap things up on this Lexus RZ 300e, it is nice that Lexus offers us a lower priced option. So you still get the premium feel of this Lexus with an EV for under $45,000. That's rare. I mean, mainstream EVs are getting super expensive too. And speaking of mainstream EVs, there's a lot of EVs to pick at this price point. Now, I don't know if this would be my top choice, but if you like Lexus, you like what they offer, you like the more conservative approach to the battery system and the charging speed that they allow you to do with this, and the longevity that you could potentially get with this, maybe this is a good choice for you. You still get a nice premium feel on the inside. It drives nice. It doesn't have outstanding range, but it is better than it was, and it's still a nice vehicle overall. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching.